The Subaru CVT is a very polarizing transmission, but does it deserve all the hate?
No!
This transmission is often accused of cutting power and just giving up. The observation is that the engine revs, but the wheels don't spin.
Tell me what to do. Show me how to feel under your control. Everything is real. So hit me. So hit me. So hit me. First a confession. With you, I feel a connection. With you, it's like an infection. I've been infected with an obsession. With you, never any tension. Nothing but love and affection. Enough of my case, so let's cut to the chase. Listen up, cause these are the directions. Obey what I say, don't complain. I don't wanna hear questions. Follow my lead.
Before we get started, I wanted to give a big shout out to team number 204, Mountain Subi of the Rebel Rally. She's not sponsored by Subaru, so if you want a Subaru in the Rebel Rally in the crossover class, please support Carrie Lando. Link in the video description. On a recent episode of 4 Subarus Attempting Imaging Pass, somebody writes, "You know how I feel about the Subi transmission. Kills me to see a big 3.6 liter engine that is probably producing around 200 stall torque. Can't climb what would essentially be a loading ramp for a car hauler. Crawl ratio matters, and 12.7 is poor, but even still, that's 2,500 pounds-foot to the hubs, and that should be enough. My Land Cruiser has the exact same crawl ratio in high range, and roughly the same stall torque, and I know how to make that hill. The altitude makes it hard for sure, but there is a lot of torque limiting going on with a Lineartronic transmission, and it holds those poor Subis back." Many of you would not believe me if I didn't show you. Here's a vehicle with a 5-speed automatic transmission.
No. I'd have to bump it more, but with all that, I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta drive it home.
No, it's not the shackle, Lenny. It's the transmission gear.
You gonna bump it? I think you could bump it, but just be safe, because you gotta drive it home.
Yeah. Nope. Man, I needed one of your transmissions, John.
So is it the crawl ratio that's preventing both of these 6-cylinder vehicles from climbing up?
Man, I needed one of your transmissions, John.
Here's 2 Subarus with similar crawl ratios. One is an H6, but it's the 4-cylinder that ends up making it up. Both Subarus went in with a lot of momentum. A lot of people won't know, but that 6-cylinder Subaru Outback has the older model CVT called the TR690 HT, and the Subaru Forester has the more modern TR580. Many of us have observed that the TR580 doesn't stall as easy, and that's what it really comes down to. It could be an older automatic transmission or a kind of old Subaru CVT. The torque converter is stalling out. There's definitely a big difference between how much momentum is used between Matt's Subaru Forester and my Honda Passport with a German-made ZF9 transmission. No matter what, the ZF9 in my Honda never ever stalls. The wheels always spin, but that could get kind of dangerous because I was sliding laterally and I didn't want to roll. So I kind of just slowly proceed and I figure out how much momentum to use to get over this obstacle. Hey, what can I say? I just wanted to play it safe. The ability to redo an obstacle mid-hill is one of the reasons why I really like having an automatic transmission, especially one that's aggressively geared. But not all automatics, actually most all-wheel drive automatics aren't going to perform like this. There's the Jeep Trailhawks, the Ford Bronco Sports. These are the vehicles that will be able to redo an obstacle mid-hill like this. The Subaru CVTs will be more comparable with something like a RAV4 or Toyota Highlander, and some of the Hyundais without the dual clutch transmissions, of course. The base models will just have a regular automatic transmission. Here's a graph that includes the Toyota trucks with a low gear transfer case. This will do a good job illustrating how much more gearing an IVTM4 ZF9 equipped Honda is going to have compared to a lot of other all-wheel drives. So it's not a fair comparison, and a Subaru CVT will have gearing that's comparable to a lot of the other all-wheel drives, and in the case of a Forester Wilderness, it's going to have pretty decent gearing. Matt is just waiting another month or so to get his Forester Wilderness, and that's going to be about a 27% increase in gearing for him. So if he's able to drive up an obstacle like this, then he's just going to be doing it that much easier once he gets his Forester Wilderness. So does the Subaru Lineartronic CVT deserve all the hate it's getting? Well, one thing I didn't mention just yet, a continuously variable transmission that uses chains and cones to simulate gears is not going to like attacking obstacles from a stop. From a stop, the torque converter doesn't lock up. So I did a little searching and I came across some literature from Subaru Canada. It says here, due to the linear nature of the CVT, the torque converter is able to partially lock up at approximately 9 kilometers an hour. That's about 5 miles per hour. Then lock up completely at 24 kilometers per hour, or about 15 miles per hour. So because of this operation, if you're trying to drive up something really steep and you have to stop mid-hill, you might not be able to get going again. So other all-wheel drives with automatic transmissions of similar crawl ratio will also have this issue. But with the Subaru CVT, you just have to learn how to drive it. You have to get a running start into obstacles that would make your vehicle stall out. Now, while out in Gunnison, Colorado, 2 months before my trip to Imogene Pass, I was driving up a hill that was steeper than anything that we've come across on Imogene Pass. And from a stop on a very steep incline, this modern Subaru Forester was able to get going again. I don't want to spoil it for you. This is going to be in an upcoming episode, one that's going to be really important, because when you come across hills like this, most all-wheel drives simply might not make it. And so you're going to have to see what kind of modification this Forester has in order to climb this steep hill. Try to guess what it is, leave a comment below. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it informational, useful, and let me know what you think about the Subaru CVT. I didn't hit every single topic. I didn't talk about reliability, but the comment section is a great place to discuss this. So leave a comment, but also if you're gonna voice your opinion, please elaborate. Because comments like CVTs suck, or the CVT is the best transmission in the world, I don't think anyone has probably said that, but if you do say that, elaborate. Why does the CVT suck? Do you have first-hand experience? What could you compare it to? So that does it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. Have fun on your adventures.